We didn't put ourselves in the studio.
Welcome
Running a
to
little
the
late.
Dirty Snow Podcast. It's episode 12, season 5, post Manawa and
Legend Labs.
Legend Laps and Hall of Fame inductees. Man, we had a busy week post Velcor.
Yes.
From traveling home, getting in on Tuesday. We had a show last week to prepping everything for Legend Laps and heading there. Watching Storm and Norman put some of the fastest laps down at Eagle River on the Dream Sled lineup.
I had a very good sled.
You want to just go through the Dream Sled lineup you had, Norm?
Yeah, so if you don't know what Legend Laps is, it was an event that happens. It's a fundraiser for the Hall of Fame in force with the WC track, and it's a fundraiser for the Hall of Fame where guys can come ride some of the older sleds. It's a lot of the guys, past racers, past champions, bring out some old race sleds and turn some hot laps at whatever pace you want to run. You had guys like Jeff Ludwig, Gary Moyle, Brad Hewlings, Tim Bender, and many more that got to go out and ride the Eagle River Derby track.
What do you think of Jeff Ludwig, the first laps we seen him turn on at Polaris?
So Ludwig was on his old champ sled, the red number 21, for those that can remember that sled. Ludwig was fast. He was the best looking sled out there. Oh my God. It sounded crisp. He had a nice pitch into turn one. He looked, I don't know how many laps he could have turned, but he looked good. I wish him and Moyle, I know they can't race. It's out there participating, but if him and Moyle could have lined up side by side for like a 3-lap showdown, that would have been.
I think Jeff might have got that one. Gary's fast too, but he didn't look as happy as Jeff did up the sled for sure.
No, and
Jeff ran into some issues where he couldn't. Clutch had some issues, and that was the end of watching that sled go around.
Yeah, it was very cool. Gary didn't look as comfortable on his, I think it was his 05 sled.
Yeah, it kind of was dog tracking a little. It was studded up pretty heavy and the track was really green.
Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool. I got to ride. A big thank you to Mark Resch. He has kind of badgered me for about 2 years now to come ride his F3 clone. And I did. It's a 92 clone, based on the old Formula 3, the Mod 3 class 650 triple, built by Troy Pearson himself. It is for sale. He's got another project. He's got another project coming. So contact Mark if you're interested in that. But yes, Mark let me ride it. I got out twice on it. Again, not a racer, not a horse jockey. I'm a crew guy. But I got to pick the skis up off of the track on the backstretch.
Yeah, there was no picking the ski up in the corner.
No, I was going really fast in my head, so I think that's what counts.
Oh, it was awesome, Norm.
So it was a lot of fun. I had it wide open on the straightaways. Cornering speed was down, but I'm going to put that on the driver for sure. So I got to ride that, and then Chris and Josh Pekka, I got to ride each of their IFS sleds. Josh had the older Snow Pro style IFS with a 380 fan, and then Chris has a slightly newer wall chassis with an IFS or with a 380 fan in it. They both run in the 380 250 class. And then the granddaddy at the end, I got to ride a twin tracker. So thanks to Stan for having that up there, and you and Steven as well. That was cool. Not too many people, I'd say, in the last 10 years can say they got to ride a twin tracker around Eagle River. So a very unique experience. I know I'm not a racer, but it was a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun watching it for sure. It's good to see crew guys get on the sleds. So they can give us their true input.
I will never, ever tell a driver that they need to drive it in harder. I'm telling you that for sure. I was not going very fast in the corners, but there's definitely a lot of front end on all those sleds. And I will never tell a driver they need to drive it in harder.
You need to drive it in deeper, Norm, next year.
Yeah, that was what we always would tell you or tell whoever. Yeah, I think you just gotta drive it in a little harder.
Yeah, drive it in further.
And so that was my Thursday. It was really awesome. I mean, just the people there too. The amount of racing history and people that you got to see that you don't get to see at racetracks as much anymore.
What do you think of seeing Tim Bender taking out one of his sleds from back in the day? That was kind of a iconic moment watching Tim back at the Derby track.
Yeah, that was very cool to see. You know, he had his full. He still has leathers fit him, and he had his leathers on his old. It's a 440 sled. It's a Yamaha Phaser.
It's a Phaser, yeah.
So that was very cool to see. Brad Hewlings on a twin tracker and on his like Starfire Kids sled. That was awesome because those guys were before our time involved in racing. So just appreciate the legends that were there. It's something special, and they had the hot boxes open on the front stretch, so it was open to the public. I think it was a really good turnout.
Yeah, it's one of those cool events. Wish it was mid in the weekend and then a little later in the day, so we had a little more heat because it was cold in the morning.
It was a little chilly.
That's part of the game though, but it is nice because it's private as well. There's not people on you. And
yeah, it was very low key. Just kind of go at your own pace. When you feel like coming up to ride, do that, and it's a great event.
At the end, it's kind of like, do you want to take this sled up? No, do you want to take
this sled up? I can't believe
you got offered a lot of sleds.
I got offered a lot of sleds. So again, thank you to everyone. It was really fun. And the twin tracker thing at the end, Doze all hopped on. I can't believe no one else wanted to ride it. And I was just like, I have to,
I think people, it's
intimidating.
That's intimidating. It's one of those sleds where like you hear all them stories about don't do this or don't do that, or it's going to do this. And we are tuned back a little with the skis and everything. So it wasn't so aggressive and didn't get that low side.
My biggest thing is I don't own any of the equipment, so I don't want to wreck any of the equipment.
Yeah.
That is a very large factor in that. But no, it's good to see, again, a lot of people, the Pekkas. Thanks again, Mark, Resh, and Stan. And it was fun.
Yeah, it was
Craig and the Derby track team, the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it was that was Thursday. And I would like to see more modern guys get to that. I know it's tough being in the middle of the week, but for some of the younger guys that maybe don't know the history or don't know the sleds, I mean, you can learn a lot just by talking to people. I got to talk to multi-time Sioux 500 winner John Wicht, and he was, just a great individual. He said that was the first time he's hopped on a race sled since like '98. So that was cool to see, and you're just talking to a lot of great individuals. It's a great event. And then moving over to Saturday, Manawa was obviously going on. We went to the Hall of Fame induction up in Saint Germain.
Yes.
That was a very cool event as well. I have never been to that. They had a nice dinner, great presentation, even more faces of snowmobile royalty there than at Legend Labs.
Yeah, people came out of the woodwork for that. It's kind of something I think a lot of them do for tradition. We sat across from a couple that's been coming for, I want to say 12 years, they said to us, kind of part of a John Deere riding group. And
yeah.
They ride with the champions, and they do that. And
yeah, ride with the champs. That was, they go on a trail ride, kind of, I think, over to Tomahawk to Craig's house. They do a luncheon, and then they put on over around 100 miles between back and forth before the banquet.
Yeah, I'd have to give a shout out for Mondis's mother.
Yes, Mrs. Mondis.
Miss Mondis. She was, I believe she's 90.
85.
Or 85.
85.
Sorry.
She put on 100
She put 100 miles on. Yeah.
And it was on an older snowmobile too.
Yeah, on an older sled.
I couldn't believe that.
That was a pretty cool hearing that at the banquet. It's like, yeah, that Mondis, I could see it. The two boys were great racers, and it was good to see Mark and
yeah,
so many other people there.
Mike Trapp there, a lot of Yamaha people, Brad Hewlings, Greg Spalding, Brian Espithas, a lot of people that, they got their plaque on the wall already, but yet they're still coming every year.
Yeah, there's a ton of people, and I got Chester from Canada came down because he had accepted an award for the twin tracker development. Hearing this short speech about the guys he worked with and a few things. And we spent a lot of time with him in Velcor, but and then at Legend Labs, he was in our trailer in the morning, and we were kind of picking his brain about the history of how things were developed or if they tried different things. It was kind of fun. We had a lot of fun in the trailer talking to him at Legend Labs, actually.
Yeah, the little bit I got to interact with him, he was, very smart individual, head of the Skidoo race team from 1980 to 1990. That was like the heyday of snowmobile racing. That was the specifically built, factory built sleds for oval racing. So he was just a wealth of knowledge and stories, and there wasn't enough time just to sit there. You wish you could just
the stories
break out a recorder or have someone write a book while you're listening to that. So that was really cool to see him go in. Scott Davis, multi-time Iron Dog winner, went into the Hall of Fame as well. Gary and Bruce Besser as a team. They could not make it down. I believe some health and weather implemented their travel plans.
Yep.
And then I forgot the first name, but the last name is Shepard. He's a
hill climber for the Snow Devils of
out in Jackson
Hole, and he won it a few times prior, and it was pretty neat to hear his story. And he's no longer with us, but his son collected the award for him, and some of the old pictures that they showed of him and running up the hill are pretty wicked. Absolutely,
yeah. So Hall of Fame ceremony and Legend Laps are going to be on my list pretty much every year. I think that those are great events. They had the silent auction. They raffled off a snowmobile. Tons of good stuff.
Oh yeah, they did raffle a snowmobile. I didn't get in on that. You did though, right? You were trying to get a hat, I think.
Yeah. So if you bought 10 tickets, you got a free Skidoo hat. So I got a $50 Skidoo hat. You got the same hat for about $5 over at the silent auction.
I don't know. I think they paid more than that.
Or a little more. So no, it went to
I love silent auctions. I love slipping in there and getting some stuff that's not so hot. But
unfortunately, I think it was one of Yamaha's last hurrahs, as we said, with them unfortunately leaving the industry this year. They that sled that was up for auction was there, and it got sold to someone in Ontario for like $165,000.
I believe that is the most expensive Yamaha to ever sell.
Yeah.
Even I don't think any vintage collectors even paid that much for a Yamaha ever.
I don't know if any bikes, like any Moto GP bikes, have gone for more than that.
I bet you they have. GP bikes probably have.
But it was the last Sidewinder made, 998, the last one off the line. So that was cool. A lot of that money goes towards
some organization,
another organization that contributes to snowmobiling as an industry, whether it's working with states on laws and funding clubs and learn to rides. So pretty cool thing going on there. But yeah, that was Saturday. I got to listen to a lot of good stories, and I had a really good 4 days.
I had a good buzz by the end too.
You did. Steven was along for the ride. He didn't drive though this time.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not much of a driver.
not on four wheels, at least on pavement. So, but then moving over to Sunday, we went down to Manawa and we got some results for that.
Oh yeah, we gotta get housekeeping.
Housekeeping. We're 15 minutes into housekeeping. So results from the weekend. So Manawa Snodeo was happening. You had PVR on one track, USSA on the other. This is some of the PVR results. Supermod 440, Saturday show. Chad Knauss picked up the win over Aaron Reuter and Mason Schutte. Superstock 250, this is that 1 year trial class. There's a good number of sleds in there. I think they got just about a full field. Steve Perrick picked up the win over Gunnar Carlson.
What is this Superstock class?
So it's a 250. I believe it's like a Supermod chassis.
Okay.
With a 250 free air in it. And this was kind of a 1 year trial to see if there's enough interest. And
gotcha.
I want to say they had a cup race at Wausau for it, and they had a full field of 10. And I want to say they had 10 at Manawa as well, 9 or 10.
Sounds like it's going to make it.
Yes, I think it'll be around. I think it'll get bumped up. So yeah, that's good for that. And then 440 fan class, that's a good even keel class. You had Travis Tavish Perry over Richard Mork and Ron Keel. And then Superstock 340 free air of the Saturday race. You had Jim Lemke over Tim Polvecki and Braxton Bell. And lots of other good results. It's posted on the Pro Vintage Racing page for Saturday and Sunday.
It looks like Steve's commenting just Super Stock 250.
Nope, just Super Stock 250. Okay. Stock chassis, stock pipe.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right. It's good to know. Moving over to the USSA side of things, the Pro Star Cup, which was the Saturday show. You had Gunnar Stern pick up the win over Blaine Stevenson and Justin Peterson. Finally, someone other than Blaine won a Pro Star Cup race this year.
Yeah, it's the first time Stern looks like he got one.
I was talking to one of Stern's crew guys, and they said that was like the first time he's been on lake ice in like 10 years or something like that. And that is a good equalizer.
Yeah.
Ice was hard.
Well.
Ice was hard. Track was kind of like a Gleason, little flat Martinsville, tighter corners. But the F500 Saturday show, that was part of the Pro Star Series points. You had Austin Graber pick up the win over Colton Abraham and Colton Graber. And then F3 on Saturday had Blaine Stevenson over Reed Klinger and Dustin Schwandt. And then Champ on Sunday, you had Gunnar Stern pick up the win over Calvin Peterson and Justin Peterson. Blaine had a pretty nasty crash on the last lap on Sunday. I texted him. He's doing all right. So that's good news. Matt Gady is planning on coming back at Eagle River this week, I believe.
I wonder how he scored that Champ on Sunday, because Justin never crossed the line. I wonder if when they call the red, it freezes the field.
I think so.
Because Gunnar would have to take the checkered in order to be a race official.
And I think Gunnar took the checkered with the red.
Okay, so that'd make it official, and then I went back a lap.
Correct. And Blaine was the only sled that had the incident by himself. So
gotcha.
I think that's how
I was wondering, because you turned around to actually see Blaine.
Check him on
with the red. Yeah. So it was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
Do you race to the flag at that point, or go play good sportsman, right?
Yeah, exactly. There was a lot of good sportsmen. I think Dane had a bad off in the F500 race on Sunday, and a couple guys stopped to check on him. So that's good to see. Your buddies helping you out, checking on you. The rest of February, the schedule here, you got the World Series up in Eagle River this weekend. You got the Pro Star Cup up there. They are starting their show Friday afternoon and part of Saturday, and then PVR takes over the second half and through Sunday.
Then we go down to Dorchester.
Yeah, Dorchester will be another local race for Central Wisconsin.
They got some fun race for that, man. He's killing it, and we have to be a big shout out for Paul over at Dorchester for bringing the track broom.
Broomzilla, they call it.
Broomzilla,
right?
To Manawa, because that made some snow move.
Yeah, and then CMPR is in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota for one of their weekly shows, and that is it for February.
That's great to see it finally wrapping it up.
Yeah, everyone can, you got about 2 more weeks of this, and then everyone can take a breather.
Big breather. We can all go to Mexico.
Or snowcross in Eagle River.
Maybe we start planning cruises, the Dirty Snow Cruise Tour for after race season.
Yeah, there we go.
If any teams have money left over.
Absolutely. And of course, we got to thank the fine folks over at Woody's Traction Products, USSA Pro Star Series, Papa Seasonings, the best seasoning out there, Emperor One CBD products, and PJR Home Services. There we got it. I think that was the latest housekeeping we've ever done.
Yeah, it's a show.
Yeah,
we're having fun. We got the numbers up, and then the people got to hear how the results came out. Yeah, they're probably wondering about one result though.
Yeah. Fine line. So as those that have been watching,
what's the hot topic?
Decker Triple Crown finished off at Manawa. They are still pending the official results. Unofficial results, you had Colton Abraham pick up the win over Derek Meyer and one of the Graber boys. I think it was Colton. Don't quote me on it. But the results are unofficial, and ISR
for top 3, you're saying?
Yes, that was top 3. One of the Graber brothers was 3rd, I believe.
Yeah, I couldn't even.
I don't know what John's watching. Which one of the boys was third? I think it was Austin.
Yeah, well, we got so
So a little bit of tech discrepancy on that. ISR has the meeting and final ruling on whatever the discrepancy is. I don't know what they're having a
meeting over. Like we've had this class for like years. Like if we don't have something figured out and we can't read the tools.
Yeah, and protocol I think was not 100% correct. Colton was third. Okay, Colton Graber was third. So yeah, little tech discrepancy. Not sure. Not glad we don't have to make the call.
It's black and white.
It's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You gotta set the standard, I guess.
But going forward, I think it's something to learn from. Whether they seal motors ahead of time or
I'm not wasting time with that.
Yeah, but regardless of that, it's a good thing. I hope they make whatever call they make. As a snowmobile community, I think we need to stand behind it because, again, a lot of money for a support class, and that's important.
Oh, whatever they kind of give for a ruling here is it's going to change F500 going forward.
Yeah.
And if it goes as they're going to allow it, I hope pictures get submitted to every person that wants to build it. Might as well put it in a rule book so everybody else can go do it to their stuff.
Yeah, whatever the ruling is. Again,
when I read the black and white, it says cut.
And maybe the rule needs to get changed to where
it's pretty black and white.
There's
no gray actually in the rule whatsoever.
Details, please. Contact someone involved with the Triple Crown.
We can't say. I don't.
Yeah, we're not going to speculate. We're not going to debate it.
We can read the black and white rule, I guess.
Yeah, that's up for discussion.
Well,
it's something with the with the power plant is all we're allowed to say.
This is the Dirty Snow podcast.
Yeah,
the dirty dirt.
Know. They want the dirt, and we gotta let.
Well, from the bar talk.
Yeah, a lot of bar talk. There was a lot of bar talk about it. But ISR is going to review it. They are meeting on it this week to discuss the final ruling on that. So you will hear something going forward. But moving on to the rest of the Manawa Snodeo. As hard as it is, you're not making it easy on us here.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just been around so long and like
this class shouldn't again. Yeah. It's been rules are rules. They've been around. How are we not?
You play in the gray.
And multiple tech inspectors saw this stuff too, and I don't know how no one caught it.
I don't want to just
question it or anything. You gotta wait till the end here and make it dramatics. But anyway,
one guy did a better job than the last guy.
Yeah, or no one did the job at all. But let's not chastise the class or the Decker Triple Crown. It's a good thing to have bonus money in a support division that is not always seen as the premier class, even though they do bring some of the most entries and pit passes to the shows. So I wouldn't, I don't think we'd chastise the Triple Crown. They're doing their due diligence on contacting the powers at B to figure it out. But the rest of the Manawa Snodeo.
The rest of the Manawa.
We got some twin tractors down there.
Yeah, they wrecked a set of car slides on me.
Yeah, Alan didn't wait for us to turn the lube on or fill the lube.
Well, the lube tank was empty, and then he never turned it on. And Chuck did the same, never turned it on.
Yeah, through a cleat. I don't know if Steve's watching. Peric, we heard it went through a radiator.
Through the radiator. They found it on
the Deckers got to play on the PBR track during a little intermission, and Steve got to run with them on his IFS stuff, and a 40-year-old track through a cleat, and I think it was actually the better track of the two, which is and it was a slower sled. That was a slower sled, and the track that was in the best condition, and Mr. Peric, I think, found the cleat with his radiator on the IFS sled. Yeah, is what we heard.
That's what the bar talk was.
So
I love the comments.
I love the comments. Yeah.
Should we read the rule like we read in the truck? It'll give enough detail, but it'll just state what the rule says.
I mean, I will tell everyone where the rule is. It's on the ISR page. F500. It is under the engine section. Read the rules there. No, it didn't go through the radiator, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's good. I heard. Yeah, someone was saying that they found the one cleat.
I think Steve might have been
saying
leave it lay about the
yeah. And it's not, we appreciate the associations picking up this.
You can send checks to Dirty Snow at this address, and we will spill the beans.
Yeah. But so yeah, it was cool to see the Decker boys on twin trackers. I mean, when's the last time they were both on a twin tracker together? Oh no, it went through. Okay, he is saying that. Oh, well,
there's a radiator.
Sorry. Don't blame the mechanics, I guess.
It was all Alan Decker. He was on charge of the track.
We're to blame Alan. That's fine. But no, it was good to see those guys out on the triple or the twin trackers. When's the last time they were probably on a twin tracker at the same time? I mean, it's probably been quite a.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so they got to turn some laps on the PVR track and then lead the parade. Chuck had to come off on the tow board one time
because he forgot to let it warm up.
Heat cycle it enough, but it was cool to see them on the twin trackers again. The racing was pretty good.
I wish I would have spent a little more time at PVR, but I got distracted.
We got pulled in a couple different
playing
directions.
With the twin trackers and dealing with that, and then just the day was full. Like so much going on, it's hard to focus on one thing. And if you're into PVR, you watch PVR. If you're into USSA, you watch USSA. If you're an F500 guy, you didn't know what track you were going to be on.
Yeah, they got spread a little thin, moving around. I like that both associations, they can work well together, very well. The track layout was, very good on PVR. I think I would have liked to see USSA's be a little bit wider. I know when they had 10 on the front row, it was a little tight, but they didn't build the track, so.
It was interesting, remember we were sitting about this discussion about, they're going to be on lake ice and it's going to be the same exact things. Well, both tracks developed completely different.
Yes.
PVR's track developed a lot friendlier. USSA's track developed into a wicket off and in bump.
Very bumpy.
It comes from different style sleds, aggression. It proved you could have two tracks in the same lake and have two different outcomes for tracks and how rough it gets. So it was kind of fun to see that they developed it between the two, how the PVR track was more consistent, a little less tight, but didn't get work
rough.
Up in the ice.
Yeah, didn't get quite as rough. Roller coaster is correct, John. USA track got pretty beat up. There's a wicked bump off of 4.
I think it was awesome. It created a lot of cool racing. You could see when someone made the mistake and went through it. It was just like being at the Sioux almost.
Yeah, you could hear
on 4. You could watch the guy hit that inner one, and it's like, oh man, that's some momentum.
We watched quite a few races from the backstretch area, and it looked like a whoop section coming off of 2.
Going in had a little one that threw some top guys off, like guys you don't see getting off sleds. Even they caught Blaine, having the banks, maybe the deception of looking across the corner was not there, and he even caught the inner bank, and we've seen that in the race prior.
Mm-hmm.
A guy catching the inner bank, like that was happening too. That we never usually see at a racetrack is catching the inner bank and having that big off. So the tracks were interesting.
Yeah, it was good racing though. I think
it showed the men.
PVR said they only had like 3 cautions, I think, the whole weekend, which is pretty impressive. USSA had their track was, again, like we said, a little rougher, but you had more aggressive sleds. You got, champ sleds that just chew up ice, outlaws that chew up ice, and if
once
you can shave,
bump, it starts,
and you shave, but the shaver's going to follow the trajectory a little bit.
Not totally, because your cutting blade's a few feet maybe 6-7 feet in front of your wheelbase.
Yeah, that's true.
They are designed so a low hits a high or high hits a low, right?
Yeah, it should. Harley rake.
But once you get that sucker going, it's gonna go like anything.
And everyone's hitting the same brake bumps and same spot where everyone's
even if people are rolling the corner, you're still getting braking with the clutching when it back shifts, and it creates a chatter and it digs.
Yeah, and the racing product was good though. The races that we did get to catch on the USSA track were good. Side by side, 2 and off of 4, was really tight, which I think it made people adjust like their normal line. People have like to float it up to the corner and they had to keep it down, especially if there was a person that they were trying to pass or get alongside of. Gunner did. Kevin is correct. He did find his way around the bumps the best. He won both days. The F3s were a little squirrely on a flat track.
Yeah, the guys.
I thought.
Yeah, they're all right. At the end of the day, everybody's on the same track. You just had to drive them, and it got rough, and the guys pitching sleds paid the price. And Gunner plays a consistent line, and he runs that, and he's a straight bar type of guy. Very little counter steer, very little pitch, and it paid off because you could ride a little higher line, and the rest of the guys like to run that tight pinch and.
Yeah,
driver preference, right?
What do you think of the Snodeo as a whole?
The Snodeo as a whole is a cool event, but it's big. It's really big, and a lot going on, and I think that sometimes may be great and not be great, because you're not focused on one production of being smooth and efficient. It's got a lot of cool stuff. Like I think there was supposed to be a flyover, but we didn't have the clearance, overhead to get that done. You had the smoke bombs and fire show was awesome.
Stuntman at the end.
yeah, the stuntman was entertaining for what it was, and for the guys that did see it. Just wish there was more guys that could enjoy it. Got to really focus on building bleachers or
I wish there was
snowbanks or something for people to watch, or something on the ice to warm up at. Just a few things,
infrastructure.
Infrastructure. You need infrastructure.
It's
at the end of
hard.
The day.
Like with it's great that you can get everything in one spot. That's not common where you can have two big oval tracks, a kitty cat track, and drag racing all going on at the same spot.
Yeah, you're just so spread out.
It's just very spread out, and they have to for safety reasons. We're not criticizing that. It's tough.
Well, it's okay to have a big grounds, but you gotta have what type of event are you trying to be, right?
Yeah, is it a snowmobile race or
is it a snowmobile race? Is it So I think they do a good job for what they do. And it'll be interesting to see what they do for next year. Dave Sarna's always got some crazy wild ideas, and he fulfills them, and he makes them.
Yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on. We weren't there. There was more on Saturday that we weren't there for.
Yeah, so we were just there for Sunday, and maybe the numbers were higher, and we're just seeing a small window of what we did see.
Yeah, it was a lot of sleds, a lot of trailers out on the ice. No one sank anything. More importantly, plow trucks didn't fall through. At a test track or two that you've been a part of, right?
Yeah, or Wassa. Even.
Or Wassa. Yeah, the one year at Man-Made, they dropped the Brickner truck through, I believe. So. Yeah,
and it's a cool event. I'll give them that, and it's neat to see the stuff running around in the lake because there's no rules like pit-wise or where the crowd walks. So you see snowmobiles cross the paths, running from track to track, and that's kind of cool. Actually, I like that stuff.
I think it brings back, we're very fortunate. Usually between rounds, you can go back to your trailer and work on stuff. And I think people take that for granted sometimes. You got to remember all these old school guys used to tune on them in the hot pits and get their hands cold and not complain about it. So that was good to see some wrenching for, out in the open.
Yeah. Well, anytime you get warmer weather, you get wrenching out in the open, and, some of the guys had to park on land, which is a tough gig. I don't think is a fun one.
Yeah, you got to go back and forth. But, yeah, they had a lot of stuff going on. The bar right there is, I'm sure, very appreciative. They had the banquet at the end. which was good to see. A lot of youth classes there. You had WKSR and the Kitty Cats. You had a lot of junior sleds across the 2 tracks. So that was good to see. Some of those kids walked out with way better trophies than we're giving out.
I could only imagine what the parents say when they get home with those things if they don't.
One was 6 feet high.
If they don't rattle apart the trailer.
Yeah. So that was good to see.
Yeah, some of them, it's like, man, where'd little Johnny going with that thing? And I think it's as big as a doorway getting in.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah.
So that was Manawa. Moving forward to...
Do you have any food there at the Manawa?
I did.
Have anything?
I liked the food trucks. They had a fry stand. I know they had all sorts of different French fry varieties. So you could get funnel fry. I think Steven got funnel fries. I got some like pulled pork and cheese fries. They were really good.
Yeah, loaded.
So it was like different than your typical track food, which you can do with, when you got that much space.
The food trucks were kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It brings another dimension, and they're not worried about selling hot dogs.
Yeah.
As a racetrack or a group.
Yeah, and then they can, it's something different, which I appreciated. We're on week 12 of this, so I was getting a little sick of regular track food.
You didn't get to go to Canada and have real food.
Oh, yeah,
you didn't get the poutine and
yeah.
the amazing stuff. Like in that little clip video, they had a piece of pork on a spit right in front where you could walk right up to it. I'm like, man, in the USA, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, a lot of variety. They had a snowmobile show, I think Saturday, vintage sleds, and then some chainsaw carving.
Yep, they had a Bikini Raider run.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. Looking forward to the weekend ahead. Getting back to Eagle River. They laid a lot of fresh ice down since WC weekend. They
had a lot of snow too.
They had a lot of snow. They're ready for snowcross. There's
not really.
Not quite
if you were to push that pile down, there's not a lot of snow there actually.
Oh, it's been a week since we've been there. I'm sure they've been running.
Yeah, they got the other side was bare. So they had a lot of snow to blow yet, and bring a lot in. And once the race weekend's over, then they really can get wild because they don't have to worry about cleaning up the ice.
Yeah, they'll have a full.
So right now they're kind of like 3 weeks. They're pinched in that little area. So
plus they did get some I think 3-4 inches of snowfall up there.
Yeah,
over the weekend that'll help. And I think in the past for snowcross they've pulled from piles from the elementary school and from the airport and stuff.
Yeah.
So they should be set for snowcross. But going back there this weekend, third round at Eagle River for some of these guys. Second round for most of them. What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, Eagle River, it's its own thing. You hate it or you love it as a racer. It's got history, but you come this weekend and it's just another race weekend now. It's not the big banger. I think the crowds will be down compared to the other ones, so you don't get that huge excitement from that side. But yeah, it's a fun weekend. PBR and USSA are back together, and we're going to see who gets some points out of the deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It should be interesting. The champ's going to be the premier class, obviously, for the Pro Star Cup. So that'll be interesting to see who dukes it out. A little bit different focus than what the World Championships are. And then you got the PVR guys. They're going to be on a little bit rougher track. USSA gets to go first as far as modern sleds. So see how the vintage guys handle the bumps. It'll be less sleds than what a Derby weekend is, so shouldn't be as rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun to watch. I think we're going to go up Saturday. I am at least.
You are.
I know you're trying to do some trail riding this weekend.
My goal is to maybe try to get some trail riding in, yeah.
That's a good goal.
I can't really go fast yet or do anything with the elbow, so I'm just kind of like riding one-armed and let the wife lead the way or just putts,
Yeah, just enjoy it. It's supposed to be really nice this weekend for trail riding.
Go be a foodie and get food at all the stops.
Yeah, it'll be a good, nice weekend for racing. It'll be interesting. I want to see, Matt Gady. Hopefully he's going to come back, and I know he's not super in it for points as far as Pro Star Cup, but he's definitely probably going to be a fast guy out on the track. So he'll throw his wrench in. I think Danik is sitting third in points right now, and he didn't have the best weekend at Manawa, but hopefully he can rebound for Eagle River. And yeah, it'd be interesting. Chris, you are right. You guys race after USSA every year in Wausau.
Wausau's got big corners to push
Big
it up.
corners, yeah. So
you can hide that race.
And I'm not worried. They'll USSA and PVR work very well together. I think the World Series is a good event. You know, keeping two associations in one spot. That's always nice to see. Good for the fans. You get to see a lot of variety of sleds.
Yeah, if you're going to spend the 3 days up there, right? Is it Friday, Saturday, or something?
Yeah, so USSA starts, I want to say they're going to start around 1 o'clock from what I heard.
Okay.
And they are going to run into the evening, probably have the lights on for a few things. I think probably do more. I think that's going to be their typical like Saturday shows, would be the Friday afternoon stuff.
Gotcha.
And then they get a abbreviated show Saturday, and then PVR takes over at some point Saturday. If someone's in the comments, they could Chris, can we put, no, absolutely not. No, not gonna happen.
Mark Resch threw in the comments that if Chris was looking for a backup driver for the 380 class, Norm would be a serious candidate.
No.
And Mark Resch has volunteered to be a pit guy.
Yeah. Yes, I know. Chris said yes. I say no.
Well,
I'm Chris. So on Legend Laps, I'm out. Chris was out in front of me by like a good half a straightaway or so, and I just hopped on Mark's sled. I didn't even really have time to sit on it because it was coming off the track, and the guy just handed me the tether. I hopped on, threw my gloves on, and went. And I was kind of like trying to get comfortable, and I saw Chris. I was just getting on the backstretch, and he was already in 4. And I'm like, all right, I'll just kind of try to follow him, but he's gonna be way ahead of me. And a lap goes by, and I can hear him coming. I'm like, oh shit. So I thought he was gonna, I'm going into 1 and 2. Again, nice and easy, not a horse jockey. And I give Chris the bottom lane. I give Chris the bottom lane because I was like, oh, he's gonna take the bottom. That's the preferred lane at Eagle River. No, he passed me on the outside like a foot away. It scared the shit out of me.
Oh, you know what they say about guys that pass on the high side.
Yeah, chicks dig guys that pass on the high side. So, no, I'm not a racer. Chris is a little smaller than me. His bars were in my lap on Thursday, so I appreciate the offer.
You could probably run the 650 and the 380s with still.
I think they're going to lap me. I'm not a doubt in my mind. Colton Walney's in that class. You could start me in the 3rd row, and I'll just.
You would start you on the back. You start you on the back stretch a half a lap ahead and see what they can do.
I'll be waving like Timmy does up on the high side, That's what I'll be doing.
Let him go by.
Appreciate the offer, but no thanks. I like being a crew guy. I like doing film work.
Yeah.
I'll come do Legend Laps every year, and that's good enough for me.
Oh,
so
boy.
World Series going on this weekend. Dorchester, the Barn Burner. A lot of added funds there. So be sure to check out some racing. Get out on the trails if you can. Get to the track. It's supposed to be a nice weekend. And I'm sure we'll have more news to come later on.
I heard once they have an official result, they're going to try to do awards at Eagle River for the Decker Triple Crown. So that's kind of what I've heard, and they're going to try to do the presentation there.
Oh man, look at the comments. Look what you started. Look what Mark started. I'm not going to run a super mod. Not going to both be on Hoopercast.
Only German. Oh,
too funny, guys. Too funny.
Too
I will come
funny.
pull them up the hill. I will push them to the line. I'm not going to race them. Not for this guy. My oval racing career ended in kitty cats when I was head first in the snowbank, and Mom said no. So I would. F4, a fan 440 would be about the only one. That's about my speed.
I think you stick to beater cross, bud.
I'll stick to beater cross, yeah. I don't even think I'm going to run that. That's coming up in 2 weeks or so. Nutterville Snow Nuts, beater cross. I think it's the same weekend as Beaujeu. So if you're not interested in racing at Beaujeu or not going to make the trip, there's some beater cross that's entertaining.
Now they're talking something that Norm's into, the Brick and
I would
Derby
run the Brick and
again.
Derby again. I would do that.
Oh boy, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes,
full schedule ahead of us here, and a
few more weeks worth of
racing. get out and do it, and just get out and support your local community and swim building.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the weekend.